Okay, we will start tonight's meeting with the pledge of the flag. Megan has the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the first item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider a proposed local law adopting pursuant to cannabis law, subsection 131, opting out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and or on-site cannabis consumption establishments from locating and operating within the boundaries of the village of Baldwinsville. Can I get a reading of the proof of publication?
Sure. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to Section 7-706 of the Village Law of the State of New York and pursuant to resolution of the Village Board of the Village of Baldwinsville adopted November 18th, 2021, a public hearing will be held by the Village Board at its virtual online meeting to be held on the second day of December 2021 at 7:30 p.m. To consider a proposed local law.
Right, I think you guys down at Village Hall got a mute for a while.
To consider a proposed local law adopted pursuant to cannabis law subsection 131, opting out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and or on-site cannabis consumption establishments from locating and operating within the boundaries of the Village of Baldwinsville. A copy of the proposed local law may be examined by any interested party at the office of the village clerk. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, persons wishing to be heard need to contact the village clerk to obtain a password to participate by Zoom video conferencing. Communications in writing in relation thereto may be filed with the clerk prior to the hearing by order of the Village Board of the Village of Baldwinsville.
Thank you, Mo. Since no one has signed in, we don't have anybody to speak in favor or against, from the public. So we can wade through that and get a motion to adjourn and close the public hearing. Andy and Ruth, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Move on to the regular meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from November 18, 2021? Megan and Andy, any changes or questions on the minutes? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Seeing as we have no citizens comments. Trustees comments. We'll start with, we'll go across and see who we got first. How about Andy?
Just agenda items only. Thank you.
Okay. Ruth Seco.
I'd like to give a couple of shout outs to Chuck McAuliffe in the DPW and Mike Lockwood in the police department for their support and all their hard work for the parade of lights and tree lighting this past Saturday. And other than that, just the agenda is good for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Megan.
That's the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. Who we got? Mike Shepard.
The agenda's fine, thanks.
Okay. Bruce Stebbins. Bruce? Does he not know how to unmute? How about Mark Wilder? Well, until they figure it out, we'll move on and we'll let them speak again.
Sticking to the agenda.
Okay, Bruce is sticking to the agenda. What about Mark?
Sticking to the agenda.
Okay, there we go. Move on to the mayor's comments. Echoing what Ruth was talking about, I would like to include Ruth in that group as far as people who made the parade and the tree lighting come off very nicely the other night. It was a terrific event. The parade itself was great. And I appreciate what the police department led by Lieutenant Lockwood did to make people safe. We're coming on the heels of somebody who had crashed a Christmas parade, just a few days before. And if you didn't notice, you should have noticed trucks parked across streets and blocking streets so somebody could not drive into the parade. And Lieutenant Lockwood spearheaded all that with Chuck's help. And we were in good shape. I felt very good knowing that both of those guys were running the show. And the tree lighting area, that was Ruth's specialty. And the music was great. There were tons of people. People were having a ball. Fireworks was great. It was just a wonderful night. Add that to the turkey trot, our tradition on Thanksgiving, and it was a nice kickoff to the Christmas season. Our village looks great. The snowflakes are up. The square was beautiful before the tree was lit. I don't know who did all that work, but somebody from the DPW. It looks terrific. So I couldn't be more excited for people to be thinking ahead to Christmas. It's been a strange year and a half or so, and at least Baldwinsville is making Christmas pretty special for people. So thanks to everybody who had a lot to do with that. On a sad note, I'd like to pass along the word of the passing of Fred Thomas, who was on our zoning board of appeals for 5 years. I know Greg worked with him quite a bit and could never say enough nice things about Fred as far as the way he approached his job on the zoning board. He took things very seriously. He was a fun kind of a guy. I mean, always laughing. He had that raspy voice. And I'll tell you what, if you wanted to hear stories about the early days of Baldwinsville in the 40s and 50s, Fred was your guy. He had some great stories, and I believe him. He was the kind of guy that when he told a story, he wasn't just making it up. And I'm very sad for his family. And I'm sad that I've lost what became a pretty good friend. He used to call once in a while just to talk. And he liked to talk, and he was, which went good with me. The two of us like to talk together. And I'm just sorry that Fred is gone. This is a time of year when the Volunteer Center / Christmas Bureau is hard at work getting packages together for families that are in need. I know 2 years ago, I was over by Tops at their facility, and they had packaging for 175 families. That's a small hamlet. That's not just a neighborhood. I mean, you're talking 175 families fills up and overflows neighborhoods in our village. And I don't know where all these people live, but they're all Baldwinsville people. And you can go on Amazon, I believe, and you can buy specific gifts and order them from Amazon. They're gifts that families have said that their kids would like. And some of them are just general gifts, or you can donate some money, or you can ask if they need some help. So don't overlook that. Be looking out for your neighbors that are alone. And the Chamber of Commerce is having their 50th anniversary celebration December 7th at Abbott Farms from 5:30 to 8. They'd love to have you come out and support the local businesses. Contact the Chamber of Commerce for tickets, and I'm sure it'll be a nice event if it's at Abbott's. And that's all I have. I'll move on to department heads. Our attorney, Bob.
I would just like to add that I enjoyed so much working with Mr. Thomas on the zoning board. And he certainly is missed by that board, and he's a tough act to follow. He's a great man, and I really enjoyed working with him. Other than that, I will stick with the agenda.
Very good. Code Officer Greg.
I'd like to also, say the same thing about Fred Thomas. He's going to be missed. I mean, he's already been missed by us on the board. He still called our office every once in a while, seeing how things were going. If anything had come up in front of the board, just to see if, just to get the news that's happening. And he was a great member of that board, great service to the community. And I feel like it was just a few months ago that we were talking about him retiring from that board. And, he's definitely going to be missed. Other than that, I'll stick to the agenda.
Thanks, Greg. Village Clerk, Mo.
I will stick to the agenda.
Good. Move on to our treasurer. Is Mark available? There he is. Hi, Mark, anything to report? No? Okay. And we'll move on to the senior center. Ruth Troy.
Just a couple of things. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, the craft sale will be happening at the senior center. Crafts from the folks that come there, a lot of yarn goods. So stop by 10 a.m. to 3 Friday and Saturday. Masks are required inside the building. So just a reminder about that. Also on Friday afternoon, we'll be lighting our tree. The DPW has it all ready to go. A little bit of a ceremony before with refreshments, and then outside to light the tree. That's at 3 o'clock tomorrow as well. Also, we've spoken a little bit about the walking trail, and I just want to share with people and communicate that the walking trail is sort of a work in progress. The signs are out, but people need to understand that it is right now a grassy surface. We anticipate that changing in the future, but at present time, it is a grassy surface. So we want to encourage you to get out and walk and move, but please wear appropriate footwear and make good judgments based on the weather that day and your own mobility and stability on an unpaved surface. So I just want folks to know that. That being said, we are encouraging people to walk. Stop by and see me. We have pedometers available if you would like one. And also, if you keep track of your walking through the month of December, we'll enter you into a raffle for an Aldi's gift card. So, and that's it, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Is the walking trail all around, just around the outside of the property?
It's really just around the perimeter of the back lawn. So the area where the car show happens, and there's a starting point, and it just loops you around to a finish point. And the signage has nutrition, health related, motivating messaging on it. So we like people to check it out, but I just want you to bear in mind that it is right now a grassy surface, and you should just weigh that into your decision making if it's suitable for you personally.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Ruth.
You're welcome.
Public Works, Chuck.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're getting an echo.
Yeah, okay. I think you covered most everything about the Christmas lights. Jeff Bordwell and Mark Sack had a big part of that. They really enjoy it, and they did a good job with it.
Go away.
Trying to make our Zoom work here. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, now I can't hear you, but that's okay. Other than that, the brush is done, pick and brush up. If we have a couple good days next week, we may try to go out because a lot of people have still put their stuff out. Other than that, I guess we'll stick to the agenda.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck. Police Department, Lieutenant Lockwood.
Nothing. I know the chief brought up for the last meeting, night band parking from 1:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. Just wanted to bring that up again, letting know that the officers are out and they are writing overnight band parking tickets. And just to update Bruce and the board and everybody, I did speak with Jack Laporte. He ended up going on a board meeting a little while ago. I ended up speaking with him after the board meeting. He was complaining about traffic issues on East United Street in Virginia and Arville Palmer Lane, about people going through the stop sign. I reached out to the school, and the school ended up putting a message out to students, teachers, family members, everybody on their part about the issue at that location. We've set up traffic details at that location. Some tickets have already been issued. And I spoke with Louise down to DPW. I know Bruce brought up an idea of having a stop means stop sign underneath on the stop signs at the locations, just to kind of make it a little added extra. Louise put me in touch with the people who make the signs down there, and I ended up spoke with the guy, and he's getting back to me. He already had a quote that they did for clay, but he thought the prices may have went up for a bit, and I'm just waiting to hear from him. And our plan is to order 8 of those for each of the stop signs at those 2 intersections. And that's it.
Very good. Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
All righty. Anybody have any questions for any of the department heads? Very good. I want to move on now to pending business. Can I get a motion amending resolution number 130/2021 to read resolve to designate the following offices as vacant at the end of the current official year to be filled at the village election to be held Tuesday, March 15th, 2022 for the following term. Village mayor, 4 years. Village trustee, 3 spots, 3 vacancies, 4 years. The original resolution allowed for the vacancy of the village justice, but his term ends in 2023. So, and not in 2022, so he will not be on the ticket. Can I get a motion? Mike Shepherd, Andy, any questions? Further comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item B, get a motion approving the proposed local law adopting pursuant to cannabis law subsection 131, opting out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and cannabis consumption establishments from locating and operating within the boundaries of the village of Baldwinsville. Andy, the motion, get a second? Ruth? Discussion? I will offer just a little, we can change that at any time in the next year so that we can decide to opt in for either or of those partial things, depending on, you know, how we see things developing. There's still some questions I know that I have that I haven't seen answered. You know, one including police enforcement. You know, how well can police enforce people who are high on cannabis? And if you have it in your village, your chances are you're going to have some people driving in or out that are going to be high, either when they got there or by the time they leave. And until some of those things are resolved, I know that I have concerns. I'm guessing that stuff will be resolved before too long, and we might be more comfortable to approach this issue in my mind. I don't know how you all feel, but I like the idea of not just letting it happen, because then we can't do anything about it. So if we have a vote in 2 months, we can turn around and change the local law. So any other discussion? Anybody have anything you want to offer?
Just real quick, Mayor, if you could explain the revenue portion of it, because I've heard a lot of people that were thinking that the village was going to get rich over something like this, or other villages or towns would get rich over something like this. And could you explain how the money would break down and how it's really not a huge windfall financially?
Yeah, it's like a 13% tax, of which a chunk of that goes to the state. Then of what's left, a chunk goes to the county. And then of what's left, you divide it. If you take a village and a town, and if they both have facilities, then that tax gets divided between the two, or in our case, the 3 of them. You know, both Van Buren and Lysander say yes, and we would say yes, then that 4% or whatever gets divvied up between the 3 municipalities. And I have not had anybody tell me what we could expect. I did have another mayor, tell me that his opinion was it wasn't going to be a huge amount of money. By the time that tax got whittled down and the state got their share and the county gets their share, that our share would be, it might be $20,000, which is nothing to cough at, but it's not going to change the direction that our village goes. So I really can't honestly tell you what the number will be. I have just been told by people they don't think it's as significant as some people would like to believe. We could find out right away that changes and might change our mind on what we want to do. And then we bring it back up in March or April and get ourselves back in the ballgame. I'll be honest with you. I have not had one person from the village contact me asking me what we were thinking, what this was going to do. They didn't like it. They do like it. It's kind of surprising whether people just take it as for fact that it's going to happen or assume that it won't happen and they're happy with that. I really don't know. I have no feel from the public. So anybody else with questions, comments?
I've had no one contact me either way.
Yeah.
It seems like a non-issue. No one cares. People that are doing it are going to do it. They've done it for years. It's not going to be any different, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've had our discussion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we got one opposition. Megan was voted no. Okay, so that's a 6-1. And we will certainly, once we get probably through when we start the new budget year, it might be time for us to re-examine whether we made the right decision, and fortunately we can fix it. So thank you,
Mayor,
everybody.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I would like to remind our clerk that because this local law is subject to a permissive referendum, that there has to be a posting and publication. And I will get in touch with you tomorrow as to how that's done.
Very good. Thank you, Bob. All right, has anybody got any other business to address before we sign off? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to pay bills as audited? Andy and Ruth? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Can I get a motion to adjourn the regular meeting at 7:56? Andy? And we got a second? Mike Shepherd? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.